Thank you, and thank you to both of our witnesses. Welcome, Secretary James, to your first posture hearing. I know you are working with my office to get down to Keesler Air Force Base, and we look forward to scheduling that soon and hosting you on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. Madam Secretary and General Welsh, I want to talk about C-130Js. I remain convinced that some elements of the Total Force Plan, such as the proposal to relocate C-130J aircraft from Keesler to Little Rock, may adversely impact our intra-theater airlift capability at a time when our services are evolving. And I believe the Air Force must make force structure decisions based on long-term global force requirements, as well as concrete and defensible data. Accordingly, I'm concerned that the transfer of C-130Js from Keesler may not, in fact, do not actually produce promised financial savings. Under the President's proposal, a new airlift group would be established at Little Rock. This group would be comprised of the 10 C-130Js that are currently at Keesler. It seems to me that establishing a new group at Little Rock would require the costly relocation of military and civilian full-time employees. I do not believe the numbers add up to savings. And I want to explore that with the two of you during the next several days as you provide written answers to the following questions. Number one, what are the specific differences in cost to perform the C-130J flying mission at Keesler versus Little Rock? Number two, is it correct that the Air Force's proposal would move maintenance and wing management personnel from Keesler to Little Rock, where we would have to switch C-130 models and stand up another wing to support them? Number three, will it be more cost-efficient to maintain the two C-130J squadrons at Keesler Air Force Base? Will the new 913th Airlift Group require the movement or hiring of additional military and civilian employees? Number four, how does the Air Force save money by moving a squadron from Keesler, which has an existing maintenance capacity, existing wing management structure, and brand new ground infrastructure, to a base that will have 4 wings located on it? And number five, how does the Air Force save money by moving C-130Js from a base with 2 C-130J squadrons, including a C-130J simulator, to a base that has only an Air Force Reserve detachment that trains on legacy Air Guard C-130Hs? Those are my 5 specific questions, but also, while you're looking at that, let me get back to one of my first questions and point out that AFRC expects, they state that they're going to save 616 manpower positions by consolidating their 10 PAA C-130J unit with AMC's 19 AW at Little Rock. Vice retaining the 10 C-130Js at Pope under the 440 airlift wing. The manpower savings generate approximately $116 million across the FIDIP and are realized by deactivating the 440 airlift wing at Pope and downsizing AFRC's Little Rock fleet. Here's my point here. The data seems to talk about a move from Pope to Little Rock, which is not actually taking place. The aircraft never went to Pope. The aircraft are at Keesler. So my question is this: isn't it a fact that most or even all of the manpower positions are based on savings in overhead positions that would exist from a Pope to Little Rock move, but that in fact do not exist for a Keesler to Little Rock move. Now, I've taken most of my time with asking these questions for the record because I want specific answers, and I want to explore with you two whether the savings are actually there. But in the time remaining, I would welcome your verbal comments. General, why don't we begin with you, sir?
Senator, as you know, because of this material we've already sent you, this has been looked at as an enterprise move by both Air Mobility Command and by Air Force Reserve Command. That is where the total savings come from, both in people and money. The benefit to us is it allows us to get rid of about 47 C-130Hs over time to get down to what we believe is a required number of tactical airlifters as defined by the Mobility Capabilities Assessment 18. To do that, the synergy of putting things together at Little Rock for both training and to put 3 combat-coded squadrons in one place, active guard and reserve, there's some real benefit to that in terms of being able to train people, in terms of being able to consolidate instructors to minimize excess support equipment, infrastructure, et cetera. That's the effort. All the numbers are tied, though, into an enterprise move, as you suggest. They're not all based on just a Keesler to Pope move. And so we'll get you your detailed answers to these questions. We'd love to have this discussion. And for any questions you have, we'll get our mobility experts from Air Mobility Command and reps from Air Force Reserve Command to come discuss this with you.
Okay, thank you. And Secretary James, do you want to add anything to that?
Senator, I would tell you in our budget and in our Air Force today, we're on sort of the absolute what we either need for a requirement or in some cases we're under requirement. If you go through different aircraft and different types of programs, we're either at the requirement or under. With respect to C-130s, my understanding is at the moment we have too many C-130s. I'm giving you the big picture story. Too many C-130s in the aggregate. So we have more than what we need against the requirement for tactical airlift. So the big picture is bringing down those overall numbers of C-130s nationwide. As to what goes where and why, I'd prefer the chief to answer that because I'm not as familiar with that.
Very good. So General Welsh, you're going to get back to me with specific answers on the record to these questions, and then we will visit. Thank you very much, and thank you, Mr. Chair.